Planned Brotherhood is not affiliated or associated with Planned. That's how you wrote it, dude. With Planned Parenthood.
It's true. I did put the hyphen after ass, like I carried over.
I thought you did that on purpose. Planet Parenthood is a registered. It's a registered. It looks like a registered.
Planned Brotherhood is Planned Parenthood's new restaurant.
Is a registered trademark of Planned. No, sir. Of Planned Parenthood Federation of America, Inc.
It must have been, it must have been, it must have been a happy time. It must have been, it must have been, it must have been a happy time. The sun would shine, the candy bars, Kool-Aid flowing like wine, the comic books, the TV shows, the bubble gum, the kitty cat.
What kind of drunk dreams do you have? Because I did the thing where I asked a question and then started answering it before you did. I did the thing where I just snapped my eyes open at 8:30. It's only like 9:30 now.
Probably the earliest we've ever recorded.
Yeah, I think so. And just, is it possible to have just like 20 thoughts all at the exact same time? As soon as I woke up, I just remembered everything about yesterday, everything possibly embarrassing about yesterday. But the dreams I was having last night, they're always so vivid when I'm drunk, and it's just I dreamed about 9 holes of golf yesterday. I mean, last night during the night I dreamed just every second of playing 9 holes of golf.
Yeah,
and I did all right. I played good.
Like if I'm stressed out about work the next day or something, I will dream that I'm at work and dealing with the email or customer I don't want to be dealing with. Like it's really lame. And or if I have an upcoming date, which it's been a while or something like that, I'll often have a dream about how terrible that train wreck was. And this morning I just woke up because you happened to come through the living room and open the door. Like I don't think I had any dreams last night.
Really?
And I'm better off for it because I feel like I potentially said and did a lot of embarrassing things yesterday as a whole. We started drinking pretty early. But yeah, I'm glad that there's nothing sticking in my head.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't think we did anything that bad. We went to see a comedy show. I remember smoking a little Doge on the way there.
Don't call it that.
And parking, I seem to remember when we got there, parking was kind of a disaster. Well, we found a pretty good spot.
And you had said, because we were smoking a joint in the car, that you could have stayed in that car all night, how much fun you were having, which I thought was interesting because usually you don't smoke, and when you do, it tends to make you paranoid.
Yeah, I'm not having that much fun.
Right.
But a lot of it is that when I smoke, I start thinking about just like, I mean, I do this when I'm not high too. Like on the drive over here yesterday when we were driving from Yakima to Seattle, I
don't know how you can not be high for that drive.
I'm just thinking about like just the millions of things. Like, okay, we got to get to town. I know Alvina wants to go shopping. She wants to do this. She wants to go here for lunch. Then we got to get to town. We're going to meet friends for drinks. We're going
when you
to
called
the
me
show.
to give me an update on where you guys were at, you sounded real frazzles, by the way.
Yeah.
I thought you were in the process of divorce at that point.
No, and the thing is she wasn't doing anything really.
Well, that was my first thought was, don't let her be a downer when she gets over here. We're looking forward to the show tonight. And you're like, no, she's perfectly fine. She's just a dawdler.
Yeah. I just know that she's just, Alvina's never in a hurry. She just takes it easy and, gets all of her shit done. So maybe I should just, I just can't help it. I'm just always.
But it kind of feels like you've always been that way.
I think
it goes back to youth, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it does. I'm just always thinking about, I want to make sure this gets done and this gets done. And really, I don't do a lot. I don't get a lot done. But like we were driving over here and Alvina's like, we were already shopping. We were on our way to lunch. It was like 1:00 in the afternoon. And she's like, oh, do you want to go see a movie before we meet up with everybody? And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Let's get there. and just get this shit started. And we did, and it was fine. But so the thing is that I'm just always worried about that kind of stuff. So when we were smoking in the car on the way to comedy last night,
Are we not going to specify what the show was?
Oh yeah, we saw Jimmy Pardo.
It was excellent. Go on.
It was awesome. And friends. Everything was already done, and it was out of my control. Kelly was driving now, so I didn't even have to worry about that. And Alvina was there with me. A lot of times she's at home in Yakima with her daughter, and I'm just like thinking about, how I should probably be there. But she was there too, and she was smoking too, and she was having a great time, and she was laughing hysterically at everything everybody said.
It didn't even matter. Somebody would start to say something, and she was already laughing.
Yeah, and so that's what made me have so much fun in the car. Plus, Kelly was stressed out trying to find a parking spot. That was pretty funny.
Then we ordered food, and I remember you and I went out, and I at least smoked a little more because the show was coming up, and I knew I didn't want to get up like once we were seated.
Yeah.
And I came back and had the least delicious fish and chips of my life at that place.
Yeah, and I had a really good pita sandwich.
Yeah, so good that you took the guy aside and stroked his cock.
It was like a busser, too.
I understand that you work in the service industry, and you, yeah, it was a busser. You want people to feel good about the service they're providing you, but only somebody that's as high as you were will take the time to single a guy out and compliment him for your pita.
Well, he came and he picked up my plate, and I was like, it was so good, it was delicious. He's like, what'd you get, hamburger? I'm like, no, I got the blackened chicken pita. And he's like, oh yeah, that's real good.
I apologize for my cough.
That's all right.
Did I cough during the comedy show a lot last night? I was afraid I was going to get called on it.
I don't think so, no.
I didn't. In fact, we didn't get called on anything. And Jimmy Pardo's famous for bantering one-on-one with somebody. He does a lot of crowd work.
Uh-huh.
And we had VIP. Is it okay that I moved into this?
Mm-hmm.
Still want to talk about dreams for another tip. So we had VIP seating because we'd bought them a long time ago, and it was directly...
And paid a lot of money.
Yeah. But it was directly in his eye line, basically our table. But the table is positioned in such a way that 3 people on one side have a good view of the stage, and then the 3 people on the other side kind of have to turn and crane your necks for the show. I opted for that eventually because I thought there was less chance of me being singled out. And but where Sam ended up being the star of our table and the show, quite frankly, as far as his interaction with the comedian. But we switched. I would have been in that seat at the last second. I switched, and I'm so glad I did because Sam came up with some pretty charming answers, whereas I would have just sat there like an idiot.
Well, they were just honest answers. He wasn't trying to be funny back with.
What about when Jimmy Pardo first he was asking everybody, like, his launching point for everybody that he singled out in the crowd was what kind of car do they drive. First of all, I don't have an answer for that if it comes to me, although Sam said he takes his bike. Then Pardo asked what kind of bike Sam had, and Sam said a red one, and that went over like gangbusters. I wouldn't have thought to say something like that.
Yeah.
I take the bus. I'm not interesting.
You never know what Pardo could have done with that.
That's true.
But yeah, it was a blast. I got a little drunk.
Well, he
spent a lot of money.
For as many people as were in there, and as much as comedians such as Jimmy Pardo have stated, like in interviews or on his own podcast, how much he hates it, like, the waitstaff is constantly refreshing your drinks during the show, like, coming up to us. I think if you had to go to the bar, it may have been a little more manageable last night.
But she kept coming up. And
as soon as I put down my empty glass, she was replacing them.
And I didn't want to cause any distraction for the show because I didn't want to get called out. So I had a beer and a whiskey. Mm-hmm. So every time she came, I would just point like, yeah, okay, do it again. So I'd get the beer and the whiskey.
Wait, how many whiskeys did you drink?
Well, during the show, probably 4 or 5.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I drank a lot of whiskey last night. All Jack Daniels, too, which I hate. I normally hate Jack Daniels.
I like it.
Alvina was drinking. Yeah, it was a blast. And then we got our picture taken with him. And we were pretty drunk.
I don't even want to look at it because we got our picture taken once before with him.
Which he remembered.
Yeah. I still think he's fucking with us somehow.
I don't know.
Because what was the comment that I drooled out of my mouth?
Well, Kelly had said something about you guys, I don't know, like, go ahead. You guys have had a picture before or something. and you said, "Oh, he doesn't remember that." And Pardo goes, "Oh, sure I do. It was either in Portland or Bumbershoot." And it was in Portland.
Yeah. That picture, even though my teeth came out a little bit, I'm talking about the Portland picture with Pardo. That one was my profile picture on Facebook for a long time. I thought we looked pretty good, pretty
Great
happy.
picture.
Just had done shrooms for the first time the night before.
Uh-huh.
I think that came across in the picture a little bit. But last night, I can just imagine that I had like the big red Santa Claus nose, and and my skin's really bad this week. Like, I just
You look beautiful.
thanks, buddy. I am wearing my 2-piecer pajamas right now.
I glanced at the picture after it was taken because I was in such a drunken haze. I don't even know what I was doing. And, of course, I only looked at myself in the picture. I didn't even look at Pardo. And it was bad. Obviously, we'll put that picture up.
Will we?
Shouldn't we?
I want to get another peek first. Let's not commit to anything crazy.
So last week's show was a little late. Wait, this was one of the 2 notes, right?
I don't know. Where are you going with this?
How apparently I got mad at you
Oh,
the other day.
Yeah, I'm gonna need my phone for this so I can read your dickish text.
Not dickish at all.
No, people know that have listened to that. We used to hate each other. We fought all of our growing up, constantly mad at each other, constantly ratting each other out.
Fucking hate you, Nick.
That was your catchphrase from 13 to 18. But even up through technically adulthood, we weren't that close. I don't know when it was when I broke up with that girl that you hated. Is that when we became buddies?
I think so. That's when it was allowed again.
And this show has had a lot to do with it too. I can't think of a single time that there's been any real tension between you and I. I mean, sure, we stirred the pot when it came to a lot of other people.
Yeah.
But like this, I think the show's been good for us. We see, for as often as we see each other, and I know I irritate your wife and even you sometimes, like in the moment, but it's never been anything that's blown up into anything really.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I agree with the first part of that. You annoy me and my wife.
Especially with this cough today.
Yeah, gross.
I'm sorry, man. Anyway, yeah, I just got the sense because our episodes go up on Fridays now. I hope everybody's enjoying their Fridays. They listen to this because I'm sure they download it and just take it out on the town with them.
Uh-huh.
But last week's went up on Sunday. Where am I going with this? Oh yeah, because there was a contractor over at our house on Friday when I should have been editing, and plus the file that I had expired, so I had to wait for you to send it, and I also had to walk my friend's dumb dog, so I had to leave the house earlier. So my plan was I'm not going to get finished editing here. I'm just going to download some illegal software on my work computer while I'm there and do it there, and I did, but I'm really not tech savvy, and even though I've worked with this program a million times on my own laptop, I could not export the file properly on my work computer. And I was pissed about this because I'd spent, an hour and a half getting this episode ready to go, and I didn't want to have to do it all over again and listen to us all over again.
Yeah.
I was done with that episode forever, as far as I was concerned, and I couldn't get it to work, and I guess the reason you were pissed is because at 8:04, my shift ends at 8 o'clock.
Okay, so what happened was we were at Blockbuster. They had a 99-cent movie sale, so we were combing through. We had just had dinner. It was Friday, and this is only like the second Friday that I've had off in like a million years.
Right.
So we're there, and you called, and you couldn't export the MP3, so I said you need to download this MP3
which
encoder, which you did, and then you exported it as an MP3, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then...
Gross. It's so gross.
So the way we do it is you edit it. The file's usually on my computer. I send it to you.
Mm.
You edit it. You make it an MP3. You send it back to me. I polish it up, put the music on
You're
there.
drawing this out on purpose now, right?
Nope. Intro, fade down. And intro, fade in.
Got it.
So you send it back to me. I do all that, and then I'll publish it. And it was already getting pretty late in the day, and I get a text.
And we don't want noise beam on our ass.
Yeah, exactly. God. I get a text from you at like 8:04 that says that it downloaded, or that you sent it to me, but you could only send it to me as another kind of file. And I was like, that's just not going to work. I know it. So the only frustration is that I called you right back, and I'm thinking 8:04. He gets out of work at 8. Just turn around, go back upstairs. I'll walk you through it. You send me the real thing. But you were like, oh yeah, well, I'll go back there a little later. And then I just knew, oh fuck, thing is not gonna happen tonight.
I did go back later, but it was like 11 o'clock, and there was still a security guard at my building, and he was not cool with me bringing 3 of my drunken buddies back with me, and so I wasn't able to retrieve it, and then I drunkenly edited it that night.
Again,
yeah, starting from scratch.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just got the sense, the text you sent me, though, let me pull them up here, because I never get this tone from you.
but I'm just saying that if you turned around right then at 8:04, you couldn't have been that far away.
I wasn't.
Turn around, run upstairs. The
And
whole
you
thing
could
would have
walk
been
me
done.
through it on the phone.
Yeah, the whole thing
If
would have
you'd
been
said,
done.
if you'd expressed any of that to me.
I know, but I'm so afraid to like make you mad, or
You're not afraid to shit on me all over my text?
that's the thing, is I sent you such nice texts and you're having a freak out about them that I don't know. I don't know what I'm allowed to say to you.
Most of what I took as dickishness was your apologies for thinking you were a dick. First of all, that file I sent you that was incorrect. All it is a picture of the icon.
That's what it was.
How I swung that. I promise if you just search as MP3, you should find it. And then immediately you follow up yourself before I can even respond. Sorry if I'm coming off dickish. I don't mean to. It's just that we're leaving early tomorrow, so I was hoping to be done. And this is when I was like, oh, fuck. And I'm, having everybody sitting at the bar with me analyze it. And they're like, no, if anything, it's the exact opposite of that. I said, I'll head back to the office and try again. I was being very curt with you now.
Yes, you were.
We could just do it tomorrow, too. Sorry, dude. It was just a long, shitty day. Now,
I had a final that day.
see, I don't know. I don't know the ins and outs of
I
your
had
life.
English lit final.
No
that
reason
day.
to take it out on me is all I'm saying.
I did
While
not
I
take
have
it out.
our text string pulled up, though, because for a second I thought you were fucking with me, as I so beautifully did to you the other week.
Oh God,
I gotta pull it up, though.
this was a nightmare. This is right after the last time I was in Seattle. Which, by the way, buddy, kind of your turn to go to Yakima here next time.
I can't help it that you weren't here just to record. We saw Jimmy Pardo. Like,
Yeah.
there are a lot of weekends where you guys end up over here anyway. May as
Yeah.
well plug in the mics.
We
We are getting mad at each other. I can sense it. All I have to do is talk about being mad at each other.
So I had so that's when we recorded the last 2 episodes that have come out, and I had them on my computer, and yeah, and then like I say, usually I export them and send you the original file for you to edit.
Oh, yeah, so it was earlier in the week. Usually I just like to have the files. We recorded a couple episodes, and I like to listen through the rough cuts so I know what we're working with,
That sounds
it's-
like a lot of listening to us.
I know. Sometimes I ask you to send them to me, and I don't. I just end up waiting until the day of. But I had it in my head that I wanted to hear one of them, so I said, can you send me those episodes tonight? And you wrote, God, bitch, bitch, bitch. Obviously joking. I decided to go this route. Dude, no, this is a part of your job, and I don't appreciate you fucking giving me shit. And then you write me back and say, whoa, slow down, Turbo. So I assume that you got that I was joking. But at the same time, like, I got a Facebook IM from you that says,
Okay, can we go back and we can go from my thing here?
yes.
So I'm always paranoid that you're mad at me. You used to get so mad at me as a kid all the time.
Well, you were
over
a dick.
anything. And so when you sent me that thing, I was like, maybe he's at the bar, he's drinking a lot, he's talking about what a cocksucker I am. All of his friends.
You've been around me when I drink a
I-
lot. Do I ever get into that mode?
I-
I feel like I'm a jovial drunk.
I've never been around you when you're not around me drinking. So maybe you're like, oh, he's such a fucking asshole. And all your friends are like, just stand up to him. Just stand up to him this time. So then you sent me that ask for a file, since I always take forever to do that. You all right?
I'm fine. I'm sorry. How many times can I apologize?
Because I always take forever to do that. So you're like, oh, I'm going to fucking ask him right now, and he's going to give me shit. And then, boom, you blow up on me. So when I write back, whoa, slow down, Turbo, that's a feeler. That's like to see what you write back, which you didn't write anything right back. And, yeah. I
Took
was
it to Facebook.
So I was telling Alvina.
I wish I had the Facebook IM saved, but it was something equally like stressed out. It was more than a slow down there, Turbo. You're like, Oh, I remember you said, "Did somebody get a hold of your phone, or did you snap at me?"
Yeah. And still no response. And I'm just like asking Alvina, like, what do you think about
I
this?
keep losing the text, but I like relishing this moment too. It was so funny to me. And then I don't respond, as you said. You wrote back, "Was that a real snap?" Question mark, exclamation point. And then I wrote back, "Sorry, dude, long day, but if we could have an actual serious conversation every once in a while, I think it'd do us both some good."
God.
And then I couldn't wait 2 more minutes.
I was going through agony this whole time.
And I said, "Okay, I literally can't keep this text going any longer. It's too hard." And then you wrote back and said you were actually tearing up a little and had Elvina talking you down. I love that I have that power over you somehow. It was all over text.
This was
I
not.
couldn't have done it like over the phone because I would have started laughing.
I want to stress to you that I don't find this a good burn. Like, it put me in turmoil. It was rough.
And the whole exchange before you realized it was a joke was like less than 10 minutes. And
I'm honestly
I was
sitting
trying
at home going, I don't give a fuck. I'll quit the show. I don't care. I'll never see him again. If that's what he wants. Fuck with me.
God damn it.
Ugh, you're fucked up.
Move on to the other note then.
Yeah, which
Well,
I can't remember what.
Sweat and cough all over myself. And I'll actually tie in nicely. First of all, I want to do a quick plug for myself. I was on Air Raid Aaron's show somewhat recently.
Oh, yeah,
I
we
meant to
never did
plug
talk
that like
about
a month
that.
ago. The only reason I bring that up now, and I had a good time, and it's one of his better episodes. But I had told that story on that show, but not our own. Is that I came close to getting a job. I actually got a job recently, full time, working with Kelly's boyfriend. It's a big long story, but he ended up getting me the job basically, and he had warned me before I even went in for my first interview, which he conducted and helped me get through, that there was a drug test coming up if I were to get the job.
A one-time only
Right.
drug test.
Yes. Yeah, they don't randomly drug test. I would never even attempt to work there.
Yeah.
But, I've had 2 jobs before this ever. Have you ever had a drug test?
Mm-hmm.
For what job?
When I worked at Best Buy for 5 minutes, there was no worries.
I was going to
though.
apply at Best Buy this week.
Really?
Yeah.
I had to do a drug test. Trust me, have I talked about the Best Buy employee meetings?
I think you
On
have with
this
the alley
show?
rallies.
You would not enjoy Best Buy. It's linking arms together, trying to get a hula hoop over your heads, passing them through, throwing footballs through hula hoops, anything to do with hula hoops, really. Hula contests.
Maybe you just had a too happy-go-lucky manager at the particular branch that you were
Maybe.
hired onto. But all
That was also where they would do the cheer. Give me a B. You got your B. You got your B. And they're like, PJ, new guy, you do it. And I was like, B. I couldn't do it.
I would prefer not to do that.
I know.
That you ended up quitting, being driven away just by the team building shit, right?
Yeah, that's why
Did
I left. Yeah. I couldn't handle it. It was every morning. I couldn't do it.
Now you took a drug test for that. Like, what do you remember the process? Were you a pot smoker at the time or
No.
anything like that?
It was no worries.
Because both
At all.
times prior to this most recent one, I wasn't the pot smoker I am now. I will say that. I was still worried about it. One was for the grocery store.
I remember being surprised that you passed that one.
Yeah, and I didn't even do anything about it. Like once I found out I got in the job, they schedule it that day, or maybe I had a day heads
I think
up.
you did. I remember you buying some cranberry juice.
Yeah, but that's about all I did. I passed. The second time I was working at that shitty gas station in Port Orchard.
You had to drug
Graveyard
test
shift.
for that?
Yeah, of all the fucking
What?
places. And that one, it was the same day. I had smoked pot like a week before, but it didn't read or they didn't care. And they just
Yeah.
gave me the job anyway. So this one, I knew that my urine is not clean. Everybody tells me
Hasn't been for a while.
not in a long while. Listen to my fucking cough. But I was in Yakima like a few days before I knew I was taking the drug test, and a couple of your friends were telling me, surefire bet you got to go with that synthetic urine.
Mm-hmm.
But that seems like a lot of work, especially when I tell you like the actual process that I went through. But the idea of packing a prosthetic penis does not sit well with me. Plus, I had to sit on the light rail to get to where I was going, and
Yeah. I guess
Actually,
it all
I didn't.
depends on if you wanted the job or not.
Nick Stamper drove me. I want to make sure I give him credit.
Oh, okay.
What did you say, buddy?
I said depends on if you want that job or not.
And I did, and I did my best not to smoke once I knew that I was probably getting the job and to drug test, but I was like, well, there's this prosthetic penis. I'll just figure out how that works. Then it's the day before, and I go to a head shop, and they don't have it. And I'm kind of secretly relieved that they don't, because that seems like a lot of work for me. And so instead I
Well,
bought...
you know, it depends on if you want a job or not.
Okay, PJ. They have...
How much effort are you willing to put in it?
They have other, what they claim to be equally effective products, including what I ended up buying was called Clear Flush.
Uh-huh.
And Nick Stamper had just gotten into town for the week when I brought that stuff home. And so he got the pleasure, because you're supposed to like follow the directions to the T, and there's a lot of them. And I bought it the day before, and some of the things included in the not to do 72 hours prior to taking this is obviously don't smoke pot. But in addition to that, they advise that the day before you abstain from drinking or smoking of any kind. And
Not gonna happen.
that's flat. They may as well do something impossible. So I was trying not to worry about it that much. And then it also said make sure you eat beforehand. Nothing high in fat or greasy. I'm like, I don't know how to eat.
Yeah.
Like I was breaking rules, and they said to abstain from caffeine. So as I'm coming out with my croissant, which from Burger King, and I'm thinking about it all, and I've got the coffee in my hand, and the second I open the door to walk back home from there, it totally leaves my hand and crashes all over the sidewalk.
The coffee does.
Yeah, and so I thought maybe that's a sign from God. Maybe I believe in God again. These are the kinds of thoughts I have when I'm not smoking pot, apparently.
Turn around and get more coffee.
No, I didn't. I took that as a sign. I bought water instead.
Very un-Seattle of you.
Yeah, so I eat that, but I bring this Clear Flush stuff back, and Nick Stamper has the not pleasure, the opposite of pleasure, of having to watch me drink it, because I have a very sensitive gag reflex anyway. You've seen me try and take shots.
Or eat mushrooms.
Yeah, oh God. So this stuff is just like, it's all syrupy and disgusting, and it tastes like Tums mashed in with something else gross. And so it took me like 15 minutes to choke it down, and I never got used to it. Like, I was just sipping it. Maybe this is, spoiler, why it didn't work. But why did I spoil it? Cut that out. So I drink this stuff, and Nick Stamper drives me over to get this drug test. And, you know, I'm already filling out paperwork for this job, and they're setting up the thing. Like, they're asking me, you know, when I can start. Like, it's all happening. This job is mine. Full-time work for Nick for the first time in over 2 years. And so we go in for the drug test, and I have not peed since I left the house and drank this shit, which I think also may have fucked me. I don't know. But I was ready to pee. Because I remember the 2 times prior to this, like, I was afraid, I'm not going to be able to pee. I'm sitting there in the waiting room for a half an hour ready to fucking pee. But before I do that, like, the guy calls you back there, and he had me take everything out of my pocket. So I'm trying to imagine if I'd had some, because I would have gone with the 8-inch prosthetic penis, just bulging out my pants. So I take out everything in my in my pockets, which includes my wallet, my keys, a pack of cigarettes, a lighter, and a pack of gum. And he gives everything back to me except for my pack of gum and my pack of cigarettes. Says I can put everything else back in my pocket. Now, what's that about?
I don't know.
I don't know either. Like, I guess that I could have some kind of device in my cigarette pack or something. I wish.
Remember when we went in the comedy show yesterday? The guy goes, "I'd like to see what's in your right pocket, please."
Just to you, not
Yeah.
to me. And what was in your right pocket?
My phone.
And your 8-inch prosthetic penis. So he keeps the cigarettes, and then there's very strict instructions before going into the bathroom. A lot of people will ask me if they viewed you, but I think that's only like if it's your probation officer or something.
Yeah.
But like I was ready to pee, and the guy gives me a cup with a sticker on it to say, you know, you have to pee at least up to there. And so I take the cup in there, and he, I wash my hands. He tells me not to wash my hands in there once I'm done, and not to flush the toilet. So I close the door.
I remember that.
Yeah. Why is that, though?
I don't
guess
know.
They can find evidence, because right afterwards
Well,
he went in there and flushed it himself.
Like, for a friend of mine, I used to, and this was for a probation officer, so this tells you that what you can get away with trying for a job is I used to fill a condom with my clean urine.
I remember
so,
that.
like, So come to think of it, if you're not allowed to flush it, what was he doing with that condom when he was done with it? Not putting it in the toilet.
Let's not explore too far.
Oh, goodness.
But so I'm in there and I'm peeing, and like I said, I've been holding it, so it was obscene. Like I could have filled up 3 of those cups, and it was like a healthy sized cup. So then I think he thinks I'm fucking around because I'm taking a long time because I can't stop peeing, and I'm embarrassed by how much pee there is, so I'm dumping some out and just trying to keep it above the sticker. And I take it back out to him, and I go to wash my hands in the sink out there because he said I couldn't do it in the bathroom. And he stops me from doing so. He says, we got to finish this first before you can wash your hands. What tricks am I trying to pull at that point in the process?
Yeah, dumb.
Pee's already out there. And my pee, like, it looks way too foamy to be natural. I haven't...
Really?
I don't know. I don't pee in a cups that often, so I don't know what it's supposed to look like. But he just gave it a once-over, said the temperature looked good, and that was it. And then had me fill out a bunch of paperwork, and then took the pen back from me, and then I washed my hands. Anyway, I hear back about, it takes 3 days for me to get my results, and I get a call from Marriott, the place that I had was getting the job, and they had said, oh, we got a call from the clinic. They have a question for you. Here's a number, ask for this doctor. So I knew, bye-bye Marriott. I was never going to hear from them again. But I thought maybe inconclusive, and I have to go through this whole shitty process over again. So I call back after smoking like 4 cigarettes. And she first she asks if I have a commercial driver's license. That was the first question. Now, my friend Kelly says maybe they have to ask that legally because of what I tested positive for.
Uh-huh.
But lucky for me, I'm a bum, so I said no. And then she says, okay, well, you tested positive for marijuana. She says, when's the last time you smoked marijuana? And I don't know why I'm being truthful with her at this point. But I gave her the figure, which I don't want to say because I might piss some people off. And then she says, okay, well, we're going to send this information off to Marriott. Good luck with everything. Have a good day, ma'am. I could not sound, is she judging me or is she just like an old crazy lady? I don't know. Have a good day, ma'am. Like the extra kick in the teeth that I did not get this job. And then, Nate says my results did not go over very well.
Yeah.
Although, what do they care?
Did he give you...
He says half the staff is fucking potheads. I don't know why in this day and age people are testing for at least pot. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
If you don't go to work obliterated, which I would, but not until I got comfortable there.
Yeah. You know, I heard that at my new job, 2 guys got caught smoking pot in the restaurant upstairs, and they got a warning. They got a verbal warning.
That's always the coolest. That place, Contour, that I can't stand going to, but we do sometimes because the owners are there. One of the owners, he's done that before. He'll take us upstairs, and then I just feel like I'm in a gangster movie. Like the owner of this club is passing around a joint and letting me dig through the lost and found. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
I got some great shirts.
I went to a casino yesterday for lunch, and
you love your buffets, man.
Oh, I do now. The casino buffets.
Well, we had went to one a couple weeks ago when you almost bought that car,
and
that all tasted like the came out of the same animal's asshole.
Well, I thought that was delicious.
No,
I thought the wings were terrible.
The
but
wings were
everything else
bad.
was good. But so there's smoking inside this Indian casino, and
not in the buffet, I should think.
No, not in the buffet, but literally everywhere else, and everybody is smoking. Like a lot of times, I think, oh, there aren't that many smokers anymore. Like, really, not a lot of people smoke cigarettes anymore.
A lot of it could be non-smokers just taking advantage of their surroundings.
Maybe. I don't know. Like, just people walking around with cigarettes in their mouth, and I haven't seen that since 2000, whenever the fuck that law went into effect in Yakima. And it was pretty overwhelming, and I've always enjoyed the smell of cigarettes, but Alvina's sick.
Have you, even as a kid?
Yeah, I like Grandpa
when we
Bob.
knew how wrong it was? Really?
Yeah, I liked smelling him.
I'm sure you couldn't admit that to yourself.
No, yeah, I liked it. I liked the smell of it.
I just remember smelling, I was going to say smelling judgment, but that's not quite what I meant. Anybody, that smell as a kid was like, oh, they're not going to survive Armageddon.
Well, I would also go to like...
It reminded me of Armageddon smoke coming out of the ground smoke.
I would go to Tim's house, and his parents smoked too. So.
Yeah. Anyway, go on. I'm sorry.
Well, so usually Alvina would be very
Nauseated.
upset by this, but she couldn't smell anything.
Oh, she's sick, right?
Yeah. So after lunch, we decided to put $5 each in a slot machine, which I hate those stupid computerized slot machines, not the one-arm bandits. Just push a button and there's like 15 different reels that spin around
I love it.
on the computer
That's
screen.
the only thing I do in Vegas.
And I have no idea what's happening.
Me
And then
neither.
if a line shoots across it, then I won
Big win.
literally 50 cents. Like, it was just terrible. But I was like, oh, I'm going to sit there and I'm going to smoke a cigarette indoors because for some reason Alvina has not mentioned my cigarette smoking this weekend, which there has been plenty of.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because she's sick and she can't smell it anyway.
Yeah, but she still sees you doing it. She's giving you a freebie weekend. Don't question it. Just
Yeah.
enjoy it.
Yeah. So I was like, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to smoke a cigarette. It's going to be awesome. And I got about halfway through it and I was just nauseated. Like, I was totally that guy that was like, there was so much smoke in the air.
Really?
I got a big fucking headache.
That's interesting. Because, I've been to Vegas a few times. You've never been. And I kind of get that way too. Like, because it's beyond casinos and just Vegas. You can fucking smoke anywhere. Anywhere. And
Grocery stores.
yeah. And if you happen,
Pet stores.
I'm going to assume that there aren't any pet stores in Vegas, but yeah.
Daycares?
Interrupt me 2 more times because I'm losing my train of thought. I can only
What if you're in a person who owns a house who's a non-smoker? You can still smoke in there?
I think you can.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Fucking the law's on my side.
But I tend to embrace that when I'm in Vegas. I'm like, well, I could do it. I may as well do it. And if I sit down, they'll probably bring a drink to me too.
Yeah.
And that's fun for the first 2 hours, I'll say, in Vegas. And then you just, like, even when I'm just there for the weekend, by day one, I'm like, I don't know how people do this. First of all, it's 115 degrees outside, and I hate Vegas. Vegas is the worst because I get tempted to turn into a sleazeball, and then I just feel bad about myself the rest of the weekend for having turned into that sleazeball. But
Sleazeball just by smoking indoors?
yeah, no, just in general.
I mean,
Like,
'cause-
your 60 ounce, what do you call it? The pina colada.
so like
cranberry
drinking.
burst yeah, and the cops are just strolling around. As long as you're not punching them in the face, they don't
Yeah.
care. People trying to sell you Coke and shit on every corner.
It's like Amsterdam in The Wire.
It is. So I'd go with you again, but only because I'd have fun sitting there and watching you play poker.
Yeah.
But never am I going to go just because my friends have a timeshare again, is what I'm
Oh,
saying.
God, that would be so... Me and Alvita were going to go once a long time ago for a timeshare presentation like when you and Margaret went.
Yeah, which
It
we've
would
talked about on the show
Be
before.
a basically free trip for the timeshare presentation. And after you told that story, I'm so glad we didn't do it.
It's the worst.
Yeah, it would have been just fucking terrible.
But when we were at that casino a couple of weekends ago in Yakima, I saw that you could smoke as long as you were in the casino. And I enjoyed that one cigarette, just strolling around. There's something kind of empowering about it.
Yeah.
As long as you're not thinking about it as an outsider, a non-smoker. 'Cause
Yeah.
then you're just, ugh.
Yeah.
Get a couple more of my flimmy coughs on mic, and we'll call it an episode.
I bought a Beamer. I bought a
Yeah,
new
you did.
car. I'm very happy with my new car purchase.
How many people that just saw the Facebook picture that you posted assumed it was a joke? Because all of my friends
couple.
that saw it said, no, he's fucking with you.
Yeah. At least one of my friends in Yakima, my friend Ed, who's been on the show.
And let's be honest,
before.
is that not even that nice of a Beamer? I'm just
Whoa,
kidding. I'm
whoa,
just kidding.
whoa. That body is straight.
I'm bringing the anger back. This is going to be a totally different show now that we've realized we can yell at each other.
When I ran into Ed and he was like, "Oh, I thought that was a joke," because he saw me pull up at it. But it was funny. There's not really a lot to talk about. I just wanted to say that I bought a Beamer, and
But you know I love car talk.
I was thinking about it because like I've been smoking cigarettes in there. You know, it's my fucking car.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's my
boy.
car. And
I'm one to talk. I stunk out the last 3 cars I owned big time.
but then like I was moving it forward a little bit yesterday,
Uh-huh.
and Alvina's like, "You have a cigarette, don't go in there." And I'm thinking, "Oh, if you only fucking knew." But when I was buying that car, the salesman was so funny. inside. He just, we were test driving it, and I took it on a pretty long test drive because I wanted to get it on the freeway and stuff.
You didn't get lost like when we were test driving the Marquis?
No, because I was in a more familiar area, and he just ran out of things, ran out of features to try to sell me the car. He literally at the end was like, gas pedal? There's a brake?
You're killing me.
He was like, he points down at the shifter knob, which has like a wood finish, and he's like, "That's a pretty cool shifter knob." And he points at the speakers, which say Harman Kardon right across him. He's like, "It's got Harman Kardon speakers." I'm like, "You don't fucking know what that means." But he honestly, he was like, "Oh, power windows, window lock, so the little one can't roll down the window if you don't want her to." Just going through the motions. It was so funny.
He starts naming the individual radio stations as he's flipping through.
Got 107.1.
You guys like the soft
107.2.
rock? We got country.
Yeah, and then he kept saying, "Oh, I should have bought this car for my girlfriend." Just doing that thing. And meanwhile, from the second I get in the car and start it up and it doesn't squeal or anything, I'm already sold. He doesn't need to sell it to me anymore. I'm just hoping I pass the credit check now.
Maybe
and get
he's on his
approved.
last legs there at the company he got a talking to from his boss.
I think he's brand new. I
He's
think
gotta
that's what
be.
he was saying. He was brand new there.
Gas pedal.
The roof, if it's raining, not going to get wet if you're inside the car.
Yeah, I haven't actually. I saw it when you guys came over yesterday, but I haven't actually got to experience it yet. Got to sit in it.
Yeah, if it wasn't...
Say it's pretty fast, huh?
Yeah, if I didn't, and rightfully anticipate such a drunk fest at the comedy show yesterday, we could have gone over to Bellevue in it. Because, yeah, it's a fast car. I couldn't even imagine if I had to drive that home last night. I would have died.
Well, I didn't know. I mean, I was drunk too, and drinking beers as fast as they could give them to me. But I didn't know you were drinking whiskey that whole time too.
Yeah. Plus, I had a big whiskey at Shorty's. Oh, yeah, we didn't even talk about Shorty's yesterday when we met up
It's
with
possible I forgot what happened.
we met up with all my Yakima friends. So we roll into Shorty's with like 9 or 10 of us. 9 or 10 of us. I don't know what that voice was. And that bartender, do you know her? Is
Yeah.
she a regular bartender there? She
she-
was being a bitch.
She was, and that was the first 8 times I dealt with her. When I don't know if she started working there since I've been going, but she's been there a long time. And yeah, she can be, and most of the time is that kind of bitch. Now, what were the examples from last night?
Well, when we all went there, like me and this guy Steve, we sat
there
up.
goes our Shorty sponsorship that I've been working on for the last 3 years, by the way.
We sat up at the bar, and I was like, "Oh, let's have a shot together." And she just looks at us, and she's like, "The line starts over here. Everyone have their ID ready." And I'm thinking, fuck you. I can sit at the bar. I've been to a lot of bars. I know I can sit at the bar. I don't have to get in a line to show you my ID. You can ignore me for a while. I know that happens. But you can come up. But so I got in line to show the ID.
Turtle, I see.
And I was probably like the third one. I think Kelly got a drink, and I didn't see how she paid. And then Nate just got a beer, like a $1 beer, I think. And then, so like you and I walk up to the bar at the same time together next, and she just makes an announcement to our whole group. If anybody plans on tipping, that would be great. Who can do that? How do you get away with acting like that?
Yeah.
And so I was just like very uncomfortable. I tipped her, and then I asked for like, I got a beer and I asked for a Jameson with just a couple of ice cubes. And she's like, "Oh, on the rocks," and I was like, "Just a couple of ice cubes." She filled that fucker
she
up with
built a
ice
snowman in
too.
there. You know what's funny about her is I get free drinks from certain people there, depending on their mood or how busy it is. And last night surely was not an example, but I get free drinks from her most of all. And because me and Sam are such regulars, and she sees us all the time, like she just saw the size of our group, I'm sure, and went into bitch mode. But when it's just me and Sam, like, and she tends to switch it on and off. Like, she'll be a bitch to the person right in front of us, and then, "Hey, sweetie, a shot and a beer. This one's on me." Like, it's I don't know. Is she bipolar?
I don't like people like that.
No, neither do I, clearly, except for when they give me free drinks occasionally.
I wouldn't even take him and throw it right in her face.
Fight to the finish. Fight, 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 fight. It must have been, it must have been, it must have been a happy time, time. It must have been, it must have been, it must have been a happy time, 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 time.